Battling, but Love comes away. Another outlet, another catch, another touchdown slam by Jimmy.
So that's game one. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think the more frustrating part than anything else is the fact that we gave up home court. As far as fear and worry, because we lost this game, that's not there. We expected the Heat to be more competitive. We expected them to be hungrier, and they definitely did that in this game. But to lose the first one in the Garden, man, that sucks. But you can't go out there and shoot 7 of 34 from the three. You can't do it, especially when you went out there and you kept on trying in that third quarter. Wasn't helping. Tragic game, especially a game that had two different halves. A first half that looked promising and looked like us throughout this entire playoffs, and a second half that looked ugly. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to break down, but not a lot to panic about. Let's get into this. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do not forget to like this video. People, join us over on Playback. That is where we watch every single one of these games, meaning we will be here live again over on Playback watching the Knicks versus Heat in game 2. All you need is to log in with whatever your TV provider is, and you'll be able to watch the game live with us. Link in the description. Make sure you sign up. All right, Knicks versus Heat game 1. Man, after waiting what felt like a week after closing out the first series in 5 games, the anticipation, the excitement, all the feelings you could think of were through the roof for this game that has a lot connected to it. It's not just two teams that are defying the odds in the 5th and the 8th seed playing in the second round. There's history between these two teams. It doesn't matter which era you're from, because the Heat and the Knicks have had some sort of run in regardless of the era. We've seen them as late as 2012, excuse me. We saw them in 2000, definitely saw them many times in the 90s. You know, there's a lot of history that goes on when it comes to these two teams. And now this is the newest chapter in that story. And unfortunately, it starts with the Miami Heat stealing a game from the Garden. And I hate that so much. Oh, I hate it so much. Especially in a game where we started off looking so good. Everything was going right for us. Defensively, you could tell that we were a lot more inspired. We understood the assignment. We knew that this team wasn't going to roll over and not fight in this game, and it looked like we were ready for that in the first half. But when we saw a little bit of that fight back going on in the end of the second, we were able to weather that storm, but we only went into the second half with a 6-point lead. You even heard RJ Barrett in his halftime report. He even knew what the Miami Heat had in store.
You know, playing against them, watching the Milwaukee series, they're gonna fight. You know, they've been down big and came back and won. So, you know, we know they're gonna fight. Just gotta withstand the run and keep pushing.
Immediately in that third quarter, they completely took control of the game. Regardless of however we tried to fight back, Miami had responses for it. We did everything we could in that second half, besides make a shot. And I think what irritated me more about that is we kept shooting them, especially when we showed in the first half that we can get to the rim pretty easily. I felt like RJ Barrett was doing a great job getting to the rim. I thought Josh Hart did a good job a few times. Jalen Brunson, a lot of these guys did a good job getting to the rim in that first half, and we ultimately went away from that and settled for 3-point jumpers when nobody was hitting them. There was nobody that was close to being a good 3-point shooter for us. Maybe Obi Toppin, but he took 11 of them and only made 4 of them. And on top of that, there's the turnovers. I mean, both of these factors, from the 3-point line to the turnovers, a lot of that stems from the top down, because RJ Barrett, who was solid for us in this game, he played really well for us, didn't close out the best, but played well for us. 50% from the field. He had 26 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, damn near triple-double. I think RJ Barrett looking as close to the RJ Barrett a lot of us expected him to look like. The unfortunate part of that was the 3-point shot still wasn't going down. Even though he had some great middies they showed off there throughout the entire game, the 3-point shot was not going down for RJ Barrett, unfortunately. And as great as he was moving the ball in this game, unfortunately, that also came with 4 turnovers for him. And not just him, Jalen Brunson as well. Jalen Brunson, who too, like RJ, had 7 assists, He had 5 turnovers. You can't have that in a game like this, especially against this team who can capitalize not only off of rebounding, but off of turnovers. And you saw that way more in the second half than you saw it in the first half. But that's just how the Miami Heat play. They are really good at adjusting. Eric Spoelstra is really good at seeing what's happening in a game and adjusting to that during the game. That he's one of the better coaches in the league at doing that, so that doesn't surprise anybody, and I'm sure that we're going to figure that out and we're going to be able to do the same as the series goes on. But in this game, Spoelstra and the Heat definitely had our number. But turnovers and missed 3-point shots are things that you cannot have, especially the turnovers. And when you look at them, those turnovers by RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson were because, so when you tell me the turnover differential is 8 to 13, that's not good. You want to try and keep that thing as close to 10 or under double digits as possible, especially when you're playing against a team like this that's going to do something with it. I'm not going to sit here and pinpoint player by player. Yes, RJ Barrett was great for us, but, you know, slowed down a little bit towards the end of the game. I feel like the entire team played terrible in the second half, so I can't just pin that on RJ. Jalen Brunson as well. He went so far to say it himself. He put the blame on himself in a post-game interview.
Yeah, key moments in the game where, you know, we need to finish strong, be strong, and that starts with me. And I didn't. Today I was horrific. Yeah, just very uncharacteristic by me, and yeah, this one's on me, and I gotta be better.
I think there's a grand majority of things that we can pinpoint and blame, and that can also be fixed. But one of the big ones to me that is really blowing my mind throughout the entirety of these playoffs, and not just this game, is IMMANUEL QUICKLEY. I don't know if IMMANUEL QUICKLey is having a hard time adjusting to the pressure of the playoffs or whatever it may be, but again, in this first game, we were seeing a version of IMMANUEL QUICKLey that I am not accustomed to. Defensively, he wasn't as good as he was in the first series. This game, he had a couple good stops. He had a phenomenal steal too there in the third or fourth quarter. I can't remember if it was the end of the third, beginning of the fourth. But other than that, the shooting selection made no sense. His passing made no sense. There's a lot of overthinking from IMMANUEL QUICKLey, and I feel like that's the biggest part as to why he just has not been playing well throughout these playoffs. It's the simple fact that he's overthinking. IMMANUEL QUICKLey is a fluid player. He's a guy that game just comes to him, and that's what makes him so great for us. But you can see that there's just a different energy. Like, IMMANUEL QUICKLey always seems to look like he's having fun. Now it doesn't look so much this way. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things. I think he needs to go back to having fun with the game and letting the game come to him, especially in the Garden when the energy is so live, so loud, and everything is going your way in the Garden. You can't allow the other team to take that joy and take that energy from you, especially when right now, without a guy like Julius Randle, we need everybody to be ready to go and ready to play the best of their abilities. And if I feel like IMMANUEL QUICKLey again in 27 minutes, which in my opinion was a lot of minutes for him, especially when he wasn't really doing much with them. I feel like Josh Hart could have gone down in minutes. I understand Quentin Grimes just came back from injury, and I think that's the reason why he only played 10 minutes. But I feel like a lot of these guys that weren't really giving you much, we have the depth, and the matchup still made sense that you could have gone other routes. But that's the thing that Tom Thibodeau is going to understand throughout this series, so I'm not gonna put that on Tibbs. I know he probably realized that we really need everybody to be available. I don't know how else to put it. I feel like Isaiah Hartenstein was good but not great. I feel like he wasn't as aggressive as we saw him in that first series. You know, but IMMANUEL QUICKLey is the one I'm looking at. Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett were the leaders in this one. Got to turn down turnovers, but overall, it's not something I'm really too worried about. I feel like we'll be able to take this, turn it around, and be able to turn it into a couple of good games. I ultimately believe that we do have the ability to steal a game in Miami as well. So it sucks to lose the Garden, that's a fact, but it's not time to panic. In no way stretch of the imagination is it time to panic. I don't care what ESPN is telling you in the history of the organization that they're 0-7 when they lose game 1 in a playoff series. You can keep all that to ESPN. Don't buy that. I feel like there's still an opportunity here for us. I feel like the Heat did what the Heat were supposed to do. Now it's up to us to respond, and I think that's the biggest thing here. And last things last, Julius Randle. We didn't have Julius Randle. Obi Toppin played great in his first start. I feel like we could have utilized more of Obi Toppin, but at the same time, for you to think that we would be better without Julius Randle, or we do not miss Julius Randle, that second half tells you everything you need to know. Again, don't want to rush him back. So if Julius Randle's not ultimately completely healthy, don't want to rush him back in the second game. Julius Randle is going to be needed in this series. That goes without being said. I don't care if you're the biggest Julius Randle hater or not. You need Julius Randle. But that's all I have to say about it. I'm not in doom and gloom. Yes, it was irritating. The referees made some questionable calls. You can talk about those stats. Those stats are out there as well. Yes, officiating was bad, but to me, the 7 of 34 was the biggest key. And to have 13 turnovers, especially when your two leading guys in RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson have the majority of those turnovers, I think those are the two main key factors to why we lost this game. And then the refereeing can be thrown at the 2% of why we lost this game. It's unfortunate. That's a fact. But, you know, that comes with the game. We have to make sure that we handle what we're supposed to do, and it's not left up to when the referees make those kind of trash calls. Then it puts us in a bad situation. We got to handle what we handle and not worry about that part. It's just the way the game goes. Let me know your thoughts about this game. How are you feeling about this series? You still feel good about the Knicks? Am I being too optimistic? What's your thoughts about everything? Let me know in the comments below. But we're good. We'll be back on track on Tuesday where the Knicks play game 2. We got to make sure we secure that game in the Garden. Make sure we bring it back to a 1-1 series, and we go from there. It's not a big deal. We got to move, got to adjust, and got to keep working towards the main goal. All right. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. I am out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be confident. Don't worry too much. We got it. Let's get it. I'll see you guys in the next one. And also, yes, I'm a little bit congested. So if you guys notice it, I apologize. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here.
Cold pizza Tuesday. I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new way. I think I like it how it is.